All right, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah YAHAWAHSHI, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah YAHAWAHSHI, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah YAHAWAHSHI, Call Yamla, Yahweh, Ba'ashem YAHAWAHSHI, Ba'ashem Kakadash. This the brother of Bakala Awalum, here with a hopeful, edifying video for the body of Yahweh, Ba'ashem YAHAWAHSHI. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem YAHAWAHSHI, Ba'ashem Kakadash, and double honors to the apostles, the men that I learned this truth from, the men at GMS, and the brethren with the like-minded doctrine, and to the Akim, to the Aqua, Shalom. I just had a video here that I ran across, and I know a few brothers made a video also about this guy. That how they try to I think he's got some type of social media account. I think he got the Heavenly Father's or the Heavenly Father's name in it, or Yasharala or something of that sort, or something dealing with Yah in one of his Salakia on social media accounts. And also I seen the brother predicted this also. I can't remember the elder's name, but I seen his video a day or two ago, and he was saying basically that there's sleeper cells, that they gonna be particular guys that they gonna come out claiming that Israelites gonna be having fringes, things of that nature. Gonna have for example the title Yah in their heading, and they're gonna act like they have something to do with the movement, and they're gonna be out here doing all type of madness, probably out here committing all type of crimes and try to throw confusion in the mix. The brother said that they got these sleeper cells. They're just waiting for the proper opportunity to go about and do their madness. And this dude right here can, throughout the Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawashi, they got everything correct and clarify who this dude is really associated with. So and like the brethren said, they you got to watch. They had watched this particular group anyway. The NFAC. They was basically the brethren, the elders made multiple videos on this organization too. They're basically agents. There's agents, and they hear the calls. They hear the work for what Saul, first letter E. Edom, Idumea. But I'm gonna go ahead and let this video play, and I get to what the point is.
The center of a multi-state manhunt, who police say is recorded on body camera footage shooting a Daytona Beach police officer in the head earlier this week, is finally captured tonight. This new mugshot shows Othel Wallace after law enforcement took him into custody early this morning in Georgia. Now, as you heard, the focus shifts to the officer's recovery. Good evening to you. I'm Eric Vada again. Glad you're with us for News 6 at 7. You saw the push alerts from our News 6 app early this morning. Authorities from several agencies were involved in the manhunt and capture, including the FBI. Here's a picture police sent to us of Wallace just after the arrest near Atlanta this morning. Authorities say he was hiding out in a treehouse with a stash of guns and ammo. Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood tweeted this photo of the arresting officers using Jason Rayner's handcuffs on Wallace. Tonight we have team coverage of the arrest for you, from where Wallace was taken into custody and who he was with to how Officer Rayner is doing tonight. Our team coverage starts with News 6's James Barbero at the Daytona Beach Police Department.
And I'm thrilled to announce that this search warrant has resulted in the arrest of Othel Wallace.
It turns out police look to have been accurate earlier this week when telling us investigators believed Wallace could be in the Atlanta area. At 2:30 this morning, the chief says it was in a neighboring Georgia county where the FBI, U.S. Marshals, Homeland Security, and Georgia law enforcement finally found the fugitive hiding in a treehouse. Chief Jakari Young says in that treehouse, Wallace had handguns and rifles with boxes of ammo, flash grenades, and body armor.
The property is affiliated with an organization called they call themselves the Not Effing Around Coalition, or just simply known as the NFAC, which is a black nationalist paramilitary organization.
Police say 4 other people were found on the property, and they tracked Wallace there based on surveillance and technology.
What's going on? Sit down. Sit.
So I want to point that out too. That they said they tracked this guy through surveillance and technology, and also that was mentioned in that article that Biden signed that if you have any family members, that they was encouraging family members or friends, coworkers to report anybody, any of their family members or anyone that they know that's radical, and they're also going to have tech companies to monitor those particular individuals. I just want to point that out because that's how they said they captured this guy here through surveillance and technology. I'm gonna just rewind it a little bit.
Paramilitary organization.
Police say 4 other people were found on the property, and they tracked Wallace there based on surveillance and technology.
What's going on? Sit down. Sit.
It was body camera video Wednesday night. Police say captured Wallace shooting Officer Jason Rayner in the head, as Rayner, according to the chief, confronted Wallace in the Kingston Avenue parking lot because he thought his car looked suspicious. After Wallace drove off, the reward for information leading to his capture reached $200,000.
We were flooded with tips around the clock. They didn't stop.
And when Officer Rayner's own handcuffs were placed on Wallace, Chief Young says Wallace said this.
What he said was, "You guys know who I am. You know what I'm capable of, and it could have been a lot worse." That was his statement.
Chief Young says Wallace will be extradited to Daytona Beach, and he will face a charge of first-degree attempted murder on a police officer. In Daytona Beach, Volusia County, I'm James Sparvero, getting Results News 6.
The sister of the injured officer sent us this picture of Officer Jason Rayner yesterday. Before that, we did not broadcast any pictures of the officer at the request of his family and the police department. Officer Rayner has been with the PD for 3 years, and tonight police say he made slight improvements but is still in critical condition. News 6's Brian Didlake is outside Halifax Medical Center in Volusia County with more on the officer. Brian.
Eric, we spoke with many people who are praying for a speedy recovery for Officer Jason Rayner, who is still fighting for his life here at Halifax Health in Daytona Beach. Now, after we did get a chance to get an update from police on Rayner, who says that things may be looking up.
So as of right now, his outlook is improving. It's a positive one, but we're just going to continue to pray that he continues to heal.
Hopeful words from Daytona Beach Police Chief Jakari Young, as he says his department will now be focusing on supporting Officer Jason Rayner and his family after the arrest of 29-year-old Otho Wallace.
He still has a ways to go, but basically from his condition right now, they feel comfortable moving forward with more testing because they've determined that he's now strong enough to endure more testing.
Community members News 6 spoke to say they feel a bit safer with Wallace detained and send their prayers for a speedy recovery as others look for more answers.
I'm glad they caught him because he can't hurt anybody else.
My thoughts go out for the family. It's always good to know that a person that's done a crime has been caught.
I think you should find out the facts, what caused the whole altercation. Because we don't really know the whole story.
Rayner's family did speak with police once Wallace was arrested and say they can now focus on their loved one even more.
Well, I woke them up to tell them the news, so as you can imagine, there was a huge sigh of relief, and I'm hoping they can get a few hours of sleep now finally, and now they can just solely focus on Officer Rayner and his recovery.
While Officer Rayner recovers, the department says members tasked on finding Wallace will be needing some much-needed rest after being on a constant go.
Salakia.
GoFundMe has been set up.
Salakia, I just want to go back. The reason why they stopped this guy, I want to point that out. The reason why the cops approach him. I think it's somewhere around here. Salakia.
Based on surveillance and technology.
What's going on? Sit down. Sit.
It was body camera video Wednesday night. Police say captured Wallace shooting Officer Jason Rayner in the head, as Rayner, according to the chief, confronted Wallace in the Kingston Avenue parking lot because he thought his car looked suspicious.
Yeah, that's exact. I want to point that out too, Salakia. I meant to point that out. The reason why they approached this guy here was the cop thought his car was suspicious. There was no criminal activity going on, or he wasn't reported in any other criminal activity previously or prior. But yeah, I just want to point that out, that the reason why the cop approached this guy here because he thought his car was suspicious. But there was a reason why I'm gonna let this whole video play too. But I'm gonna fast forward back to this point.
Finally, and now they can just solely focus on Officer Rayner and his recovery.
While Officer Rayner recovers, the department says members tasked on finding Wallace will be needing some much-needed rest after being on a constant go. Now, a GoFundMe has been set up for the family. Now, a GoFundMe has been set up for the family. It's already raised $200,000, but it's far from its goal of $300,000. There's a link to that in our website and mobile app. But for now, we are live in Daytona Beach. Brian Dillett getting results, News 6.
All right, Brian, thank you. Reactions on the arrest from across Central Florida continue to pour into our newsroom tonight. The Orange County Sheriff's Office said, quote, "Great news. Glad he is behind bars. We continue to pray for Officer Rayner's recovery." And Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says, quote, "The suspect in the vicious shooting of police officer Jason Rayner was apprehended by Georgia police at a black nationalist paramilitary encampment. There is no place for hate in Florida. Our law enforcement will be protected. Justice will be swift." End of quote.
Well, see, that was that video. The government had a governor there with his comments. They had interviewed people with their comments, and I'm gonna show you this video also of another police shooting, but this one involves a so-called white man. A so-called self-proclaimed white man, and the cops. And I'm gonna let this video right here play.
Now, new at 10, we're getting our first look tonight at some dramatic body cam video. This is a police shooting in Lawndale. In fact, this was the scene last month where 2 Chicago police officers were shot and the suspected gunman also wounded. Investigators saying that those officers were responding to a shot spotter alert and they approached him.
So, okay, right here it says 2 officers were shot and the officers was responding to a shot spotter alert. I don't know what that is, so we're gonna find out. I have it here already. I googled it, and it says gunfire locator. So it says gunfire locator or gunshot detector system is a system that detects and conveys the location of gunfire and other weapon fire using acoustics, vibrations, optical, and potentially other types of sensors, as well as a combination of such sensors. So the shot spotter alert is a sensor detection system, for gunshots. So that's why the cops was called or alerted because there was shots fired in the area.
And that they then saw in the area. So here's the newly released body cam video. You can see the police there following. The man's going down the alley there, and they're shouting at him to stop, but he's keeping on walking until he suddenly then takes out a gun and fires right at them. And I do want to warn you that the video you're about to see is disturbing, but remember, everyone survived.
Show your hands, dude. Get your hands out of your pocket. Dude, stop. Get your hands out. Come on.
So right there, right, the cop told the guy to get his hand. He gave him he gave him 3 warnings. I heard. He told him to stop, get your hands out, stop, and they was approaching the cop. The guy was approaching the cops with his hands in his pocket. I just want to make that facts seen. You know that he was told by the cops 3 different occasions to stop, get your hands up, stop, and they kept coming. Well, he kept his hands in his pocket. And what happened? The cops shot him. I'm gonna just let the video continue playing.
Now here's that confrontation again. This is from the other officer's body camera. Police returned fire, and the suspect, who we now know as Bruce Lua, was hit in the leg but survived. Both of the injured officers are also okay, and in fact, they were saluted as they left the hospital later that day. Now, Lua is now charged with attempted murder and aggravated battery. COPA's investigation still underway.
So this guy here, this Edomite, he was it's obvious that this guy that they was called to find, or called the suspect that they called to locate, it was, well, not obvious, but I say it was likely that he had a firearm. So it was probable that this guy had a firearm on him, and it was called because of fires being shot in the area, because of the sensor, alerted because of sensors, right? So I just want to show you the difference in between what happened to the black guy and him being and him being his situation with the cops. Not condoning not condoning any action, or not condoning the so-called black dude or the so-called white guy's action. I'm not condoning any one of the shootings. I'm just trying to show you the difference between them approaching our people, or the so-called blacks, and the so-called whites being approached. See how they hit the so-called black guy? They drug his case out. They had went into detail. They had made sure they linked them up with an organization. They had interviewed people, even though I know this guy was on the run. And they had interviewed people. They even had a comment from the mayor. The mayor wherever the state that he was captured in. But this guy here, it was a brief 1 minute video, a little over a minute video, and they have no, you don't have any links of any organization with this guy, and also he walked away with his life. If this was a so-called black man, without a doubt, there was gonna be Edomites on the scene, Edomite cops on the scene. Esau Edom was gonna be on the scene, hands on guns drawn. And all they needed to say it twice, man. They would have told the guy, stop, let me see your hands. If he wouldn't have stopped, they would have just loaded or unloaded on that guy, man. That's without a doubt, man. I'm just assuming, but that's without a doubt, man. Because they was notified, they was called for an alert of gunshots in the area, So they already knew there was going to be a gun. It's going to be a gun situation. A gun was the primary reason of being called gunshots. So I just want to show you the difference, and also I know, like I said before, I know this guy was on the run, but I was looking for this video of this Edomite shooting the cops, and I did a search on YouTube, and I put cop shot, and I went down, and I was just counting the videos of this dude right here, this Daytona Beach, the so-called black dude, the Daytona Beach shooting of the cop. I counted, at least 16 videos, and I know there's more than that, but I just stopped at 16. Even though, like I said, I know this guy was on the run and he was looking for him. I seen, there's several videos of this guy right here, and but when it came to this so-called white guy and what his shooting was, I only seen one video. This video right here, this the only video that I seen, that I found, And it's not, it's more likely you don't see this on national news, but this so-called black dude, even though, like I said, he was wanted, you know, you know how they just I'm just showing the difference in how they approach the approach situation when it comes to Jake and when it comes to their own people, And also too, I want to point that out that the cops involved with the so-called the white dude that shot the cops. These officers was obviously in a Hispanic descent or yeah, Hispanic or Latin descent. They without a doubt had to follow protocol and 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 they ain't try to shoot first. This guy shot first. They gave this dude the opportunity to shoot first, even though they gave him commands. More likely if it was the so-called black guy, they would have gave him a command or two, and he didn't have to shoot first. So-called black guy wouldn't have to shot first. He would have been struck down, man. Multiple holes in it. More likely, he'd probably been dead. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just want to point out the difference on how they do things. There's nothing new. You know, and I just want to bring out the scripture too. Depart ye, because this is not our rest. This is not our rest. And and that too, that the see how they approached the so-called black guy. He was They just said the cops, his car was suspicious. That's why they approached him. And I have no idea why this guy shot the cop. What motive? Like the brother, like it is out here. It's judgment. No judgment is going forth. So the death angels are out. You know what I'm saying? Like the elders say, these death angels are out. So I don't know what stimulated this guy shooting this so-called cop. But like they stated, they said the cop approached the guy because he didn't do anything criminal. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He just said that he found his car suspicious. For what reason? They haven't elaborated on it. What's suspicious to this cop? They can approach you for no reason. They can just say, hey, look. They can just make up whatever, and that's good enough reason to stop you. Or approach you. But yeah. Also, like, I think that's it that I want to bring out. Depart, because this is not our rest. It's 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 polluted, or it'll destroy you with a sword of destruction. But yeah, that's all I have on this video here. I hope the body of YAHAWAHSHI, YAHAWAHSHI will edify and call YAHAWAH, YAHAWAHSHI, Bashim Kakadash, and Shalom, Wa, Abba, Babal.